I believe that every music lover has certain artists that can do anything wrong in their head.
Yeah.
Who are they for you?
I think everyone can do some stuff wrong. I was going to say John Martin, but he's like my hero, and there's some of his stuff I hate. I absolutely hate it, and I just wonder what on earth he's doing. He gets like a saxophone noodling away, and but yeah, I think everyone's got their low points, but then their high points completely supersede anything. It's just like some of his good moments are unbelievable. They're incredible. I don't know. I don't know if there's anyone that's perfect. Yeah, I mean, there's a few people where, like someone like Joni Mitchell is. You can't criticise any of it, can you? You can't. I don't think you should even attempt to. Joni Mitchell's probably the closest thing to perfect. Yeah.
But every musician is allowed to make a mistake once in a while.
Yeah, that's the whole point. You're supposed to make mistakes. Music would be boring if you didn't make mistakes. You've got to explore new stuff, and then you can come back from it and go a different direction. I think the musicians that never try and make mistakes, those are the ones that become boring and dull. I think those exciting times, like Bob Dylan playing electric, like how's that for a change? And I mean, I don't think that was a mistake, but it was like you have to try something new, and I think a lot of people hated it. Well, a lot of people did hate it, and they were just like, oh, that's a horrible mistake, and it just opened up a whole new part of their world. Yeah, you've got to try and be different. You've got to try and float around a little bit.
A thing that stuck with me is a thing you said about your parents, that they are. My parents grow older, but they always listen to the same records.
Yeah.
What records from our day and age do you think you will be listening to in 20 years from now? Are those records still made?
I think so. Every now and then you'll get a gem of an album that you listen to. It's those ones that you listen to from the start to finish. Bon Iver's first album, I'm sure I'll always listen to that. I've listened to that record so much and it hasn't got old. I think the new Bon Iver record as well. Maybe I'm just a massive Bon Iver fan. I think that's the problem. There's a few current ones. There's a couple of Ben Harper records that I'll probably always listen to. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard music at the moment. There's so much because there's so much access to music. It's constantly changing. And the records back in the day, there's those great records that really shine out amongst everything else because of the format and the availability of it, I think.
Yeah, that's why I was asking, because it seems to me that the sustainability, as you will, of music has become somewhat less because we listen to it more in a fragmented way. You know, we get more the song by song.
The problem is attention. You know, it's like our attention. We're constantly like grasping onto stuff, and you'll love something one day and you won't love it the next day, or like 5 days later you'll need something fresh. And it's a cultural problem. You know, it's that problem with. Dare I say it, sort of consumerism. Like we've got, it's not the fact that we want to consume, it's the fact that there is so much access to anything. Like even here, I could walk down the street and I could eat any different food I wanted to. And there's a vegetarian restaurant there, there's like a kebab shop there, and there's a pizzeria down the road, and it's like any food from all over the world, and you could go to any one of them. So it's kind of, there's so much access. You're constantly just picking at stuff. So yeah, I mean it's a good point. Maybe there's less and less of those records.
But how do you feel about being part of that system? That you are also an artist that someone listens to.
Yeah,
and
it's all transient,
isn't
it? Yeah. I think that's just the way it is. I think you put out music, and if people like it and they keep it and they keep hold of it and cherish it, then that's an amazing thing. It's a classic. Like in hindsight you'll see maybe you'll have a record that people hold on to, maybe you won't. Maybe there'll be a few records that I've neglected to mention here, and there was 10 years time I'll be listening to them and I'll be like, I wish I said in that interview that record, and that record. No, another one, Willie Mason, Where the Humans Eat. That record's timeless. That's one of the best records of our generation, that one. Yeah.
And how do you want Every Kingdom to go down into history?
Oh, I'm just happy it's out. You know, I'm happy it's out there, and yeah, I've got very little desire for the record. You know, just in terms of, I'm really happy it's out, and I don't think you can attach this expectation to it. I think afterwards you'll sort of see how it turns out. It might get written off next year, and people will be like, "What was that?" But I'm just amazed that we're playing shows, you know, playing live shows, and people have liked the record so far. A few people haven't, but I mean that's the way it goes.